hours. On Joy FM Radio, call or SMS to participate. Remember, the views expressed on the platform are not of the station, but those of either the guests or the participants. Joy FM Radio, for your ears only.
Good morning and welcome to the platform program on Joy FM Radio, the station that is meant for your ears only. And this is the last day in the month of March 2022. And we would like to also, acknowledge, the fact that we have actually lost a veteran broadcaster who actually worked for ZNBC, and of course at the time of his death he actually was working for 5FM Radio, Mr. Ricky Banda. He used to be known as Sweet Ricky, and also others would call him Ricky B and all that. And of course he actually had a lot of a following insofar as his a kind of music that he used to actually play on the radio where he actually worked at the time of his death. And of course he had a very, very huge following. I mean, he saw actually rest in eternal peace. And of course he died yesterday at his Ballaston home in Lusaka. So we wish the bereaved family, heartfelt condolences in that particular regard. And we are actually on the platform program right now. Welcome to it, just in case you are joining us today, the 31st of March 2022. My name is McFarlane Munyanga, and today I will be actually talking to governance activist who actually happens to be Mr. Lazarus Simukoko. And we'll be dealing with a number of issues, especially those on the ground being spoken about, issues which people actually, talk about on a daily basis. And they spark debate in that particular regard so that we can actually draw a spectrum of our views from our listeners as well, wherever you are actually listening to us from. Welcome to this broadcast. Good morning, Mr. Simukoko. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Mr. McFarlane, and good morning to our listeners and viewers as well.
Thank you very much. And of course, we do believe that this will actually take us up to 11 hours, and we get to delve on discussing a number of issues, among which will be actually cost of living, and we'll also be looking at the rule of law, and of course many matters arising from the recruitment of civil servants. And we are talking about the medical practitioners or health workers, let's put it that way, as well as our teachers, and we'll also be talking about other civil servants in that particular regard. We have had, pass-outs from, the Zambia Correctional Services. We have had, pass-outs from the Zambia Army. We've had, pass-outs from the Zambia Police. Since the, beginning of the governance of the current head of state, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. And we'll be looking at a number of things in that particular regard. But first of all, let's begin with looking at, how you would describe the cost of living currently, or from the time Zambia actually went to the polls, after the results were announced, up to where we are now. How would you describe the status quo in the cost of living?
It has been so devastating, Mr. McFarlane. Looking at the country in itself, most of the people, that what we need to realize is that they went to the polls and managed to vote for His Excellency, President Hakainde Hichilema, on the basis that they were buying a bag of minimum at an expensive price from the previous government. Apart from that, also, we need to know to say, most Zambians went to vote for the UPND government as well as its leader because they knew to say, we are spending a lot of money when buying the basic commodities that we usually buy on a daily basis. And that is why, provided the people of Zambia wanted just the roads, schools, and many infrastructure development that we have undertaken previously, they know to say in that angle or that regard, the Patriotic Front is called. They went to the polls because they wanted to begin buying a bag of milimi, which is a 25 kg bag of milimi at 50 kwacha. They went to the polls, Mr. McFarlane, because specifically they wanted to make sure to say they begin buying cooking oil at a reduced price. They went to the polls because they knew to say at this moment when we vote in a president who at many times said, provided the economy is broken, you need to call an economist. Just like the way when a vehicle is broken, you need to call an engineer to come and work on the vehicle. So according to him, he was the engineer when it comes to the economy. And most of the Zambian people knew and realized that the things that we are experiencing in this country, they were not complaining about the roads, they were not complaining about the schools which were being built, they were not complaining about other things regarding the infrastructure development. Because one, the PF at that particular moment, Mr. McFarlane, or the previous government, it knew and realized to say the main reason as to why we need to embark on infrastructure development. Look, when you are hosting things like Africa Cup of Nations, when it comes to football or World Cup, we need to know that all that team which comes, it comes to begin booking your lodges, making sure to say they are spending most of the times in hotels, and that is why infrastructure development is important because one, it can bring foreign currencies in the country. When that happens, now it becomes okay for the kwacha and dollar to begin stabilizing. If we head that way again, there must be a realization to say, previously again, most people in that regard, they were doing all those things, Mr. McFarlane, because they knew to say, for this government or for the investors to come in the country and begin investing, they need to know to say, primary things have been done. What are those primary things? Provided an investor wants to set up a company or an industry somewhere, let's say in Chibombo, let's say in Milenge, in Chitambo, they are going to begin asking themselves to say, how is the status of the area where we want to go and begin investing? Is there a proper road network for us to begin moving our goods and services to the market? Then in that angle, there is going to be what we are calling now more investment coming into the country. Besides that, Mr. McFarlane, we need to know to say, when this government came into power, it came with its own way of things because they are only promising. When it comes to the manifesto, what they had was a 10-point plan. And that 10-point plan, Mr. McFarlane, which they had, we need to know to say, they were not explaining things which they are going to do for this country. All they were doing was, we are going to reduce unemployment. All they were doing was, we are going to make sure that the prices of commodities are going to be reduced. The president also made other things, such as making sure that you fill up your trolley when you are shopping in shopping malls. All that things meant that...
No, just there, Mr. Smukoko, when you were talking about, let me just draw you a little bit back, to where you actually mentioned that if we took the trajectory of, infrastructure development, I think, in my view, is that, infrastructure development should actually run in tandem with, improving the direct cost of living of the direct, livelihood of the of people, because you cannot embark on infrastructure development alone without a direct, improvement of the livelihood of the people. And also in that particular regard, issues, of course, that border on, development. How long, what stretch of time should we actually, give as a measurement to tackling everything that actually requires, the nation to actually heal from economic woes, to heal from, all the other issues that actually border on employment, lack of, food and such like?
Mr. McFarlane, we have got sectors in the country, or in many governments. That's why we have got the energy sector, we have the agriculture sector, we have got also the Ministry of Infrastructure and Development. It is not all the ministries that can border on infrastructure development. The point I'm trying to raise, Mr. McFarlane, is not that the trajectory of infrastructure development is okay or is not okay. The point I'm trying to raise here, Mr. McFarlane, is you need to be moving things all together at once. And infrastructure development has got its own benefits. So is other sectors. Now, the point I'm trying to raise again is, we need to know to say, since this government came into office, what ministry is performing better? The main reason we have the Ministry of Finance, The main reason why we have got the Ministry of Agriculture, we have the Ministry of Finance to make sure that, one, they look at money supply, to begin controlling how much money is in circulation. That is why also the Ministry of Finance works together with the with the Central Bank in short, which is the Bank of Zambia. One, to regulate the banks and also to make sure that they begin curbing the inflation and also other things in terms of reducing the exchange rate between the two.
All those things.
Now, I want to explain a bit there. I want to connect things.
Yeah.
Apart from that, Mr. McFarlane, we need to know to say the main reason as to why we have got the Ministry of Agriculture. That ministry is specifically for agriculture. And that is why the Ministry of Agriculture can't invade or begin operating or dealing with the issues that are pertaining in the Ministry of Health or Ministry of, that is, Finance. Its main duty when we come to the Ministry of Agriculture is to make sure that all the farmers in the country are supplied with adequate inputs, adequate tools and technology that they need to be using during their farming process. The main reason, Mr. McFarlane, why we have the Ministry of Finance is to make sure that, one, it begins monitoring how money supply is being done and also measures it is taking in order for the country to begin benefiting, one, through how much money they are spending as a result of exports and imports. Because what we need to know is when the exchange rate reduces, when we are buying $1, let's say at 5 kwacha, it means for you to go to South Africa, for you to go to Tanzania, to go and buy the things that you want, you are going to be spending less kwacha on the amount because kwacha isn't accepted in Tanzania, the Zambian kwacha. The Zambian kwacha isn't accepted in America. What is done is, before you go to the United States, you are supposed to change your kwacha to $1. Then you suit the currency which they use in that country. Just like many shops in the country that we have like Zambia. Those shops can't allow the people to begin buying. Since it is not accepted in the country, the only way the Zim dollar can have value is to exchange it with a kwacha, so that those people who are in that Zim dollar living in the country or who are in the country can begin accessing the things that they want within the country using the kwacha. Now, the impact is, if the kwacha has appreciated more than the Zim dollar, that Zim dollar, Mr. McFarlane, you are going to be spending more of it to access limited or little kwacha to your side. So is the case with the Zambian people. When we are dealing with the issues to do with the economy, we are dealing with the issues to do with the cost of living. We need to know to say, what makes the cost of living to reduce or be reduced? Those are economical activities. What are those economical activities? How much money is Zambia transacting per day? We need to know to say, for Zambia to begin gaining foreign exchange or to begin gaining foreign currencies, Zambia needs to begin exporting. And that is why the Ministry of Agriculture needs to be involved in this process intensively. The main reason why that is a core value or why that is important is this, Mr. McFarlane. We need to know to say, when you are looking at the jobs that are created, or we look at agriculture, we have got what we call backward linkages and forward linkages. How much of the jobs are being created before the actual production of the thing? We need to know to say, in agriculture, before you supply or before you begin saying to say, Zambia has produced bumper harvest, you have already created employment. How has that employment been created? You need people who are involved in transportation to deliver fertilizers, to deliver seeds, to deliver all the chemicals and all the medicines that are required by those farmers who are farming there. By virtue of doing that initially, you have already created employment for those people who are in transport, for those people who are supplying fertilizers, and for those people who are doing what? Who are supplying chemicals, which needs to be making sure to say all the agricultural crops are what? Are growing healthy. If you create such kind of employment now, we have got now what we are calling forward linkages. After you produce your maize, after you produce your groundnuts, after you produce your sorghum, how much of the employment will be created thereafter? Zambia then needs to embark on robust value addition. When that robust value addition is done, Mr. McFarlane, what will be transpiring is you are going to be required to have the people who are the what? The millers. Or people who are going to set up the companies to begin making sure to say, instead of selling, let's say, maize, we are going to begin selling mealie meal. In that angle, Mr. McFarlane, what you are going to create is employment for those people who are going to be setting up those industries, because people will be required to work in that sector. Immediately that is done, then you need now to begin exporting. When you export, you are going to be gaining a lot of what? A lot of foreign reserves or foreign currencies in the country. When you have enough dollars, you have enough pounds, you have enough foreign currencies in the country, the kwacha then reduces against other currencies which we have in the country. Besides that, Mr. McFarlane, we need to know to say, when you are intending to market the country, just like the way the president has been saying to say, no, I'm the chief marketing officer of the country, we need to know to say, what is it which we have in the country, which we want to begin marketing outside the country? Today, as we are speaking, Mr. McFarlane, we can't be saying to say we are going to begin selling bags of mealie meal when the Zambian people today are buying a bag of mealie meal at a minimum amount of 150 kwacha. You can't begin saying to say we are going to begin exporting cooking oil, which you don't even produce in the country, when the people of Zambia are buying such commodities at an expensive price or expensive prices. If that is the case, then what I would recommend these governments to do is, one, to begin understanding what are we supposed to do at this moment. What are we supposed to embark on at this moment? What kind of a commodity is in excess in Zambia? Then the president then can go to Congo and say, oh, Bakongo, natukwata obungo bwingi kunganda. Oh, Bamalawi ise kuno tili na chimanga kuno. Tili kufuna mwe muwele mugule kuno. Ala Malawi yali kula, azabwela kuno. Azabok nena kuti, Azambia ukwali na chimanga. Tende ugula chimanga mu Zambia. Bakongo kuja wazabwela ti mu Zambia balina unga. Tufuna ugula unga mu Zambia. Ivo vikachitika, Mr. McFarlane, then you are going to see the country called Zambia is going to gain a lot of money, because for Congo to trade with Zambia, it is going to be required to use its currency to exchange it into a dollar. Then Zambia gets that dollar and keeps it in banks. Besides that, Mr. McFarlane, what we need to notice is, as we are speaking currently, the government banned the importation of onion. That is why today onion is expensive. Today, as we are speaking, Mr. McFarlane, in these different rivers which we are having in this country, there is a shortage of over 40,000 metric tons of fish. Bakongo balikwatesa bilingi nabyo. Why can't we talk to Congo and tell Congo to say, Bakongo, here in Zambia, we have got a lot of mealie meal. We are able to give you this kind of bags, or we say we are going to give you 800,000 bags of mealie meal. You give us the plenty fish, which we are lacking. You give us the things that we are unable to produce. The remainder of the things that will be remaining, then give us the surplus amount to our side in dollars. In that case, Mr. McFarlane, what you have done is, instead of buying that fish at an expensive price, what you are going to do is, you have embarked on what you are calling commodity swap. Since Zambia is having mealie meal, Congo is having fish. Zambia needs fish, Congo needs mealie meal. Go to Congo, talk to Congo. Congo, what we want here is fish. What you want is mealie meal. Then you are going to give mealie meal to Congo. Congo is going to give us fish. In that way, we are going to stabilize. And that is why it is important again to embark on foreign or international trade.
All right. Now, I'll just try to bring you back. You've spoken much about, the sectors that we have that can actually steer development in a specified period of time. My question is, what is the specified period of time in which all these things you have actually tabulated can be achieved?
We have got what we call the long term and short term.
Mm-hmm.
There must be a process.
The things you have spoken about are actually, encompassing on long-term processes.
But the decisions we are making now can affect the long-term processes you have said. What we need to know is if Zambia needs indeed to begin producing bumper harvest of maize, we wouldn't expect the government to begin delivering things like fertilizer and seeds to provinces like Muchinga, Luapula, Northern, including Western, at this time. The question then should be, Mr. McFarlane, where are those people going to use those things? Because rains, as we are speaking, infra ile loke ya kulaya ile neri. Now, the main point which I'm trying to drive at is, you can't have a vision of producing bumper harvest when you are supplying fertilizers to the people who are involved in farming in March. You can't expect to produce bumper harvest when you are supplying the seeds of maize, seeds of many crops which we produce in this country in March. Then in that way I'm going to say, the vision of the country is not to produce bumper harvest. And that is why we can't say this government has produced bumper harvest because one, this is their first farming season which they have embarked on. As a result, the inputs which they are doing will result in the outputs that they are going to gain. If you have one input, your output will be a one. They say garbage in, garbage out. Work input, work output. That is the issue, Mr. McFarlane. Whatsoever you put in is what you get. If this government is supplying farmers with fertilizers, seeds, and all the chemicals that they are required to have in order for them to begin producing their maize, during this time, it means there is a delayment in the supply of those things. Then that simply means that won't steer bumper harvest in this country. If it won't steer bumper harvest, what we need to know is, we want export to Congo. We want export to Malawi. If we don't export to Malawi, even next year, as I'm speaking right now, it will be the same story, irrespective of it being a long-term process or measure. So what you put in at first, it's a short term. What you are going to produce then becomes in a long term. Again, there are other activities within which the government can embark in order for them to begin revamping the economy of the country. As we are speaking, Mr. McFarlane, in Rwanda, the president has announced the addition of subsidies to the energy sector, such as fuel, petrol, diesel, and many things which they use, such as paraffin. The president of Rwanda, President Paul Kagame, has said the happenings in the global economy should not affect the sovereignty economy. Zambia, as we are speaking, is a sovereignty state. It governs itself. The question should be, without the world in itself, can Zambia survive? We need to develop an independent mind where we begin embarking on our own processes, such as we don't need to depend on Ukraine or Russia when it comes to our farming. We don't need to depend on Russia and Ukraine when it comes to other things that we have in the country. And that is why, if you see two countries are at war, Mr. McFarlane, then they affect the entire country. Just know that they are able to stand on their own.
Okay. Now, you mentioned of the issue to do with, why we are actually buying milling at an exorbitant prices, and we are talking about, exporting maize to other countries. In December 2021, a minister of, agriculture, actually, Dorothy, stated that the maize in stock guarantees food security, and of course, for the whole year 2022, which even if there is a drought, we will still survive arising from the maize stocks that are actually, there are about 2 million metric tons of maize, in storage facilities to the time that, he was actually speaking about this. And also he actually mentioned that we have enough stock actually in our reserves. So that's the reason that the other question that I would actually want you to clarify on is that, we need to obviously come up with a certain modalities on which we can have, this whole thing of thinking about exporting maize, because we have a lot in stock. So don't you think it's all about making, deliberate policies that will actually, trickle down to cheapening, the minimum prices, as opposed to, just making rhetorical statements such as, the statements of, having a maize exported or minimum exported to other countries, when we have our prices, skyrocketing. About policy.
The ministries that we have, Mr. McFarlane, they are interlinked. Some of them. You tamper with the energy sector, automatically or initially, you have tampered with the Ministry of Agriculture. Zambia currently can't have a bag of mealie meal, that is a 25 kg bag of mealie meal, to be bought at 50 kwacha because of the pressurized impact which is coming from the energy sector. We need to know to say, as we are speaking today, ZESCO increased the connection cable to about 834%. We also need to know to say ZESCO increased power separation fees to about 730%. Apart from that, Mr. McFarlane, what will be happening is this. The cost of living has increased. We have got people who are vested or who are in charge of making sure that they begin producing mealie meal. Those people have workers. Those workers are required to have salaries. That company is required to be paying for electricity units, if not buying petrol or fuel, because for that production to occur. Now, what is happening is the millers who are in charge of producing the mealie meal and other things, they are doing what? They are buying all those things at an expensive price. In short, the cost of production has increased. It has increased because the government has increased the prices of fuel. It has increased because the ZESCO tariffs have been increased. It has increased because ZESCO separation cables and ZESCO separation meter fees have increased. Now, what will be happening is this, Mr. McFarlane. That company is in business which is producing mealie meal. Since that company is in business, what will be happening is that company will be looking forward to make the profit. In short, all the costs of production are now transferred to the people who are the buyers. In this case, who are the buyers? The people of Zambia. If truly that increment by ZESCO, the increment of fuel prices, petrol, and other things, have been increased to that level, it means that company which is producing mealie meal, it is going to channel or transfer all those costs on the consumers. Those consumers, when they have managed to receive all those costs, they are going to begin buying a bag of mealie meal at an expensive price, just like we are buying today. Apart from that, Mr. McFarlane, what we need to know is the people of Zambia, the farmers that we have, they do buy fertilizers, they buy seeds, they buy all the chemicals that they use in order for them to safeguard their crops. If they are buying a bag of fertilizer at 1,050 kwacha in Eastern Province, if they are buying seeds at expensive prices, what that farmer will do is, that the farmer will sit down and say, how much did I spend during the time of production? How much was my cost of doing the business, of doing the farming? Then that farmer will say, okay, I've produced 200 bags of maize. Let's say per bag of fertilizer, which is a 50 kg, I was spending about 1,050 kwacha. That farmer will sit down and say, look, if I begin selling this maize at a reduced price, I am going to make a loss. inenga napanga losi nalafira okushita isya kubomfya next season. Apart from that, the farmer who have a forecastive mind, saying, if I don't make money out of the bags I'm having today, I will fail to produce next year. If the farmer fails to produce next year, it means the farmer will have nothing to eat. As a result, the prices of commodities, such as the prices of meal, maize, will be expected to rise. We can't be talking about other things which we are talking about, like policies, when the government is listening more to the IMF than to the people of Zambia. I heard the statement of the Minister of Finance saying the IMF has allowed us to employ the 30,000 teachers. What would have happened, Mr. McFarlane, if the IMF said, don't employ the 30,000 teachers? It means, that is the case. Now, provided the country is relying on the decision of the IMF over what decision it makes, what policy it should come up with, what it needs to forfeit, and what it needs not to forfeit, then we are missing it as a country.
What should have happened instead?
Regarding what?
Regarding the same explanation to do with reliance on international forces to actually embark on a developmental activity.
What should happen, Mr. McFarlane, is Zambia needs to be making decisions which are benefiting its people. In Rwanda, the president of Rwanda has not asked the IMF if he can be able to bring the subsidies to the fuels, the petrols, and other things in the energy sector.
What did we do?
What he did, he just said, look, the happenings of the global economy should not affect our people. We are going to take a precise...
That obviously has to come, with a practical steps, isn't it?
Those practical steps were undertaken with his administration, not the administration of the IMF. That's what we need to understand.
And of course, those are some of the major things that people ought to understand. What are those practical steps that were taken? Like, I cannot just hear somebody actually talking to me about how I should have done something, or maybe just telling me that you shouldn't have done that. But how should I have done it?
Okay, so now, what this government of Rwanda did, Mr. McFarlane, is that it's had to sit down and say, look, in the country called Rwanda, the people will begin suffering immensely if we let go, or if we just let the happenings of the other countries to affect ours. It understood to say, yes, we are buying petrol and fuel from abroad at expensive prices. But what it did was, irrespective of doing that, the main reason why we are in government is to act in situations such as the things that are happening now. That is why the government of Rwanda has said, we are going to begin, or we are adding subsidies to our fuel, to our petrol, in order to cushion the cost of living for the people of Rwanda. We also need to know, Mr. McFarlane, to say, let us look at the policies which Zambia has taken, such as in the mining sector. You look at the Lower Zambezi. As we are speaking, in Zambia, Lusaka was declared as a settlement in 1913. Apart from that, also in 1906, we began power generation. In 1806, we began copper production. Because what we need to know is that Zambia has relied much on copper. Irrespective of it relying much on copper, Zambia benefits zero, ngwe, as we are speaking, from the mining sector. Then, if we are benefiting zero, ngwe, from the mining sector, why do we have the Ministry of Mines? What is the duty? If Zambia is losing, such as the mineral loyalty tax, what we need to know, Mr. McFarlane, is when the government discovers copper, to say we have got copper in this area, the government is going to begin looking for investors if they can't manage to process or to produce that copper on their own due to machineries and other things. Let's say the government discovered copper, and then they say, okay, we are going to give you the license for producing copper. Along the way, is that investor discovers gold in the process of mining copper, that investor is supposed to be paying the mineral loyalty tax because the government only issued a license for producing copper. In this case, what this government has done is, we don't care whether you discover gold. We don't care whether you discover uranium. We don't care if you discover any mineral resource as you are mining copper. You don't need to pay us the mineral royalty tax. All you need is to just continue producing. Which is a wrong thing, because we need to know to say, copper is in diminishing return. Mr. McFarlane pe mwachosa copper ngati lipo 5 ngati mwachapo copper imozi pazasala ili 4. We will never replace that from generation to generation. Pe bachosa copper si bwelela, pe bachosa gold si bwelela. The question we need to ask ourselves is, how much is Zambia losing in terms of copper, which is a diminishing return? What is Zambia losing? Zambia is losing a lot. Today, as we are speaking, at the international market, the prices of copper have risen. Such prices of copper, which have increased, they would have helped Zambia to begin paying the debts which it is having. Now, here is the government takes a decision of one, not making sure to say the companies begin paying the mineral royalty tax, and makes a decision to increase the cost of living for the people of Zambia, which is not starting. Because one, we are going to say the priority of this government is not on the people of Zambia. The priority of the government is on foreigners. Because today, as we are speaking, Mr. McFarlane, no Zambian company has been given tax holiday or tax exemption. Nothing. No any company. Let us look at foreign companies. Most minings are owned by foreigners. So this government is saying foreigners are more important than the Zambian people. The question is, why do we have the government in place, Mr. McFarlane? We have the government in place to safeguard the interest of its people. The main reason why the country was colonized, it's because the people of that time, who are the chiefs, what did they do? They were at times exchanging people with salt, people with a glass. Ine milei ya kuimwena mwe. Balechinjanisha na bantu. For one reason, it's because for them, they were more interested in precious things, such as amamila yene, gunpowders, and other things. Are we in the colonial rule for us to begin suffering in this way? Are we in a colonial rule for us to begin forfeiting the taxes, not giving tax holidays and tax breaks? I told you, Mr. McFarlane, previously to say, the only way this country can improve is by safeguarding the lives of the people of Zambia. How is that company making a profit? How is that company making a loss? That is why many countries which have a forecastive mind, they have got what we call sovereignty wealthy. Mr. McFarlane, if you are working as a civil servant, the government is precisely supposed to entitle certain payments to your side and not giving you, and it needs to begin saving those amounts in your name. That is why countries like Singapore, countries like Malaysia, they don't use the resources of the country, such as they need to come up with the budget and the taxes in order for them to embark on infrastructure development. What they do is, almost all the civil servants that are in Singapore and in Malaysia, they pay the sovereignty wealthy, and they've got a special unit of a bank. The government then begins to monitor such amount and say, how much amount is in here? Then they begin investing on behalf of the civil servants, because most civil servants maybe can't invest. After they invest, then that money which they are keeping specifically for those civil servants, it will begin accumulating interest. And that is why civil servant waku Malaysia ngatali na malilo, civil servant waku Singapore ngatali na malilo, family sizachosapo chilichonze. Okay? The family of that kind of an individual is in a private family,
Those
we will not
countries
pay.
you have cited examples from are actually not in the third world.
Let me explain to you, Mr. McFarlane. They made decisions which made them to be who they are today. I always say you are who you are today because of what you did in the past. And whatsoever you are doing now, it will make you be somewhere in the future. That's what I always say. You can't have a grade 12 pupil who has failed to pass a grade 9 exam. You can't have a grade 9 pupil, Mr. McFarlane, who has failed to pass a grade 7 exam. That can't happen. I am at a university today because I passed at grade 12. They can't be like Malaysia and Singapore. They are at that point today because of the decisions they made previously. The question we need to ask ourselves is, are the decisions we are making in Zambia ready to take us somewhere in the future? Then the answer would be no. Why? The government is prioritizing the foreigners than the people of Zambia. I'm going to tell you to say no. Because the government now is more interested on the Zambian people to pay more taxes than the foreign companies.
All right, I would like you to actually, get down with me to the issue of the rule of law. And of course, from the time we ushered into government, new office bearers, how can you actually, compare or describe the way the rule of law has actually, been regarded as previously in comparison?
The rule of law, Mr. McFarlane, as we are speaking today, it is selective in nature at this point. Because one, look at the people who have been investigated who are in the previous administration. Those are the people who have come to the forefront and begin to criticize the government. Today they see that, oh, Lazarus is now talking. Let us try to look at the blunders that he would have made previously so that we begin to silence him. What we also need to know is point at another person who is being investigated who was maybe not connected to the other regime which is there. Today as we are speaking, Mr. McFarlane, let me just conclude this point. The government has recorded certain things like the scandal of fertilizer, which is in that angle that is corruption. The government has recorded other things that has to do with, even the ministers, the president admitted to say, my ministers are stealing in that angle. What we need to know is, the main reason why that is done, Mr. McFarlane, is to begin understanding how is it being applied fairly. When one, other people have been shielded, two, other people have been prosecuted or persecuted. Again, the persecution of opposition leaders is more than those who are in government. Why? Because those who are in government at this moment, Mr. McFarlane, they are being shielded. Most of them are being shielded. And if that is the case, Mr. McFarlane, you need to know to say, the Zambian people and we as the Zambian people, we are empowered by the Constitution. What is surprising me, Mr. McFarlane, today, is when the people of Zambia begin complaining to say, ima madurisa unga, madurisa cooking oil, madurisa fuel, madurisa marengesa kutise tilipira transport pa mitengo yo dula. Tulipira mitengo isha mabuses pa mitengo wa dula. Pakuba tusikeko tuleya. Ubunga mu alunda. Ama fuel na mulunda. The government is saying we have given you a freedom of speech. Are you sure people are complaining about the cost of living? Are you sure people are complaining about all the happenings of the government and all the things that they have backtracked? Because even this government has said circumstances has made us to do what we never wanted to do. What are those circumstances? I am intending to believe that circumstances such as from the IMF. Because the government is precisely taking such kind of stances because of circumstances. No, abantu baleddandaula tisintu na fidula. Abantu baleddandaula tumutengo wa ifina fidula. Abantu badandaula manyumba ati itempasa freedom of speech.
What solution would you actually advise as a governance activist? Actually, what advice would you provide to government.
In
The
the
trajectory that, government should have actually taken to ameliorate this problem that is being encountered, as opposed to, not taking note of the problems, but take note of the problems and provide solutions.
one, the solution to the rule of law. The president should not be appointing the IG, deputy IGs, and commissioners of the police. Let those have a constitutional office.
That means we have to change the law.
Exactly. When you do so, when you appoint, that IG...
Now, then that one is not the problem that has been created now. It's a problem that has been there over the years.
Yes, and whether the problem is there in over years or not, I'm not here to talk about the blunders of the government alone. I'm also here to talk about the mistakes that have been made previously. And that is why, when I'm here again, the government is a system. It doesn't matter who goes there. What matters is the policies that they implement when they are there. So, meaning, the policies which this government has managed to implement or come up with, they are not in tandem with what the people of Zambia expected. Most of the people are disappointed. And what this government needs to know is, especially those people who are in the UPND, I sympathize with them. Most of them, Mr. McFarlane, they have been neglected. Not only the people of Zambia, they have been neglected. Now, precisely, the main reason why I have brought in this issue in is, there are certain people who are in forefront in the UPND as I'm speaking to Dewa McFarlane. They are in forefront in a political field, in forefront. And what we need to know is, you know that a company is not willing to employ a person who is inclined in politics. How are those people surviving? How are they surviving? The government should be know, how are they surviving? The issue is that much they compare kuikala kwa muntu during the time of harsh times in Shtare Bomba. Look what the people have been appointed in different positions. Let us talk about the district commissioners. Those district commissioners, they have neglected the youths who took a steady step in order for them to do so. They were supposed to at least to appoint them as district commissioners. For me, I don't have a challenge, Mr. McFarlane. If the government employed its people in or appointing them as district commissioners when they are competent. What we are looking at is service or delivery of services to the people of Zambia. When you are done with campaigns, elections are over, we always remove that political cloth and say it's time to save now. That is why it is very much important, Mr. McFarlane, you begin understanding how are the people surviving? How are the people living? Today as we are speaking, even people who can criticize me today, Mr. McFarlane, they know what I'm talking about, that it's a reality. They know what I'm talking about, that this is the truth. And that is what is pertaining on the ground. I'm not going to come on Joy FM, where I am, Mr. McFarlane, and begin insulting leaders. That is not my nature of doing politics. I'm not going to come here and begin calling leaders names, no. I'm going to call a leader, yes, and provide the solution and spot out the mistakes that have been done. In short, I speak the truth. It is always important for the government to begin looking at the issues. Look at countries like Rwanda. Look at countries like Rwanda. Look at countries like Tanzania, Mr. McFarlane.
Do you understand, the economic dynamics of these countries? You are actually giving comparisons, or you are just reading from what is actually emerging out of news?
No, Mr. McFarlane.
Do you understand it's, their economic dynamics?
I do very much. And that is why we've got what we call comparative advantage as countries.
I'm saying that, these countries actually do not have problems which obviously are detrimental to the citizens.
They are minimal if they are there. They are minimal. I'm going to tell you so. One, in as much as we might face problems, it's not those problems which can make people die.
And when you are doing a comparative, you said comparative advantage?
Yes, for the countries.
When you are doing that, it must obviously be compared directly to a certain country, and those must tally. If you compare this sector, it also has to be compared to another country's sector.
Now, no. Let us look at this now. We have got the comparative advantage, Mr. McFarlane, let's say, when it comes to production of maize.
Yeah.
Congo...
How it happens here in Zambia and how it happens in another country.
Yes, I'm coming. How it happens in Zambia and how it happens in other countries. Apart from that, there is a situation where both countries don't have any... They have one commodity or one common good which they have no comparative advantage over. In this case, we are talking about fuel. Okay? Rwanda, of course we can say, no, this and that, but it doesn't produce fuel, petrol, and all those things. It means they have no comparative advantage in that thing. Tanzania might not have a comparative advantage also when it comes to petrol production and all those things, because most of those things, they come from countries like Nigeria. So now, in as much as we are looking at comparative advantage, we need to know, what is Zambia good when it comes to produce? It's good at producing maize. What is Malawi good at when it comes to production? It is good at producing tobacco. Irrespective of these countries having such differences or similarities, if we might put it in that way, it means Malawi is still also grasping or grappling with the issues of petrol, fuel, and diesel. Zambia is also facing the issue of petrol, diesel, and fuel. The decisions which Malawi can take, because it doesn't produce petrol, it doesn't process or produce diesel, fuel, can be in tandem or in comparative, or can be compared to the way Zambia is doing things. The point I'm trying to raise is, we can of course compare the way our agricultural sector is, or when it comes to production of maize. Maybe also, countries don't have that means of producing maize. But the issue which is available, Mr. McFarlane, is there are a lot of common things which those countries don't produce, such as petrol, fuel, diesel. The decision which Rwanda has made, because it doesn't produce or it doesn't process fuel and petrol, can also be made by Zambia, because Zambia doesn't do the same.
Now, that's the reason why we bring people like you on a governance platform like this one, so that you can give that solution which another country has actually used.
So now, the solution...
That's why I earlier on asked you what has Rwanda done regarding the issue of our fuel for Rwanda to actually have a fuel cheaper.
Zambia removed subsidies from fuel, petrol, and diesel. Removed subsidies. And that is why the prices of petrol, fuel, and diesel have increased. While Rwanda, in that country, is saying, look, we can't run away from subsidies. We can't run away from subsidies. For one reason, it's because we need to make sure that we reduce the cost of living for our people. That is why it has increased further the subsidies that it has for the people of Rwanda in the energy sector. In Zambia, we are removing subsidy from fuel, petrol, and diesel. Zambia, of course, might have challenges, but the challenges which it has, people today, how many people didn't eat as we are speaking? How many people have not eaten as we are speaking now, Mr. McFarlane? There are a lot. Now, since there are a lot of people who have not eaten today, what other countries do is, there is supposed to be a deliberate policy. That is why in England, specifically in 1931, they introduced what they called the English law. That English law was specifically targeting the people who are the oppressed, people without shelter, people without food or basic needs. And that is why the government of Rwanda, Queen Elizabeth there, said, if we want to give you shelter when you don't have shelter, if we want to give you food when you don't have food, you fail to get, we'll be arresting you. Balaikatira abantu pafiweme. Nombalelo nga omafya to, Lazarus alenda pafiweme kumwikata. What kind of a nation is that, McFarlane? That is what countries like England did. It introduced the English law. That law was specifically, Mr. McFarlane, for the oppressed people. For the people who had no means of having the shelter, for people who had a lot of things such as the sufferings to the point that they failed to access basic needs, then the government introduced that law so that, one, it is able to fulfill the level of living for its people.
Right. Now, getting back to the issue bordering on, fuel subsidies that, were imposed on Zambia.
Yes, yes.
Now, that particular matter actually, according to the Minister of Finance, we were told, at the beginning of, was it last year? No, at the end of the last year or this year, that Zambia is actually spending over $67 million every month, on fuel subsidies. And of course, in that particular regard, you will find that, Zambia has, on annual basis been spending or has spent close to over $800 million. And this is actually something that, that is in the expenditure form that has actually kept fuel prices to be actually, low in that particular regard. That is below the actual prices, actually. So, all this amount of money that was actually being spent on fuel subsidies, and it was not actually being paid, and this is why Zambia still owes, on fuel subsidies.
Mr. McFarlane, the English law or the common law, which was introduced in England, it was for the oppressed people. In Zambia, we are taking decisions. I've mentioned to say in 1931, the common law was implemented in England. Zambia today is taking decisions, not for its people, but foreigners. You can mention that amount, Mr. McFarlane, but the issue is, how much is Zambia losing in the mining sector? Do you know that today, as we are speaking, foreign countries or foreign companies who are running the mining, they are not paying the mineral royalty tax, and as a result of that, Zambia is losing about 3.4 billion kwacha. Meaning, Zambia is giving that money to companies. It's like when I'm working, Mr. McFarlane, one company says, okay, I said to the company, don't pay me anything. Don't pay me anything. It's me, when you pay me, I'm going to be paying you back. So in short, the government is paying those foreigners 3.4 billion kwacha. Now, if the case was like this to say Zambia was paying more on fuel subsidies, they would have used this money, Mr. McFarlane, which they have managed to forfeit as a result of mineral royalty tax, which they are going to be losing annually, to supplement on the cost that they were incurring in the subsidies which they had in the fuel prices and other things. And that one could be a cost reflective for the people of Zambia. Now, if this government, are you going to justify any decision that this government has taken, regardless the scrapping off of the subsidies from the energy sector because of pressure? No. So then, why has this government managed to forfeit this money to the foreign companies who are running the mines or the mines? If this is the case, Mr. McFarlane, the government should have said, okay, we are going to increase the mineral royalty tax. Then let us also reduce the subsidies. Maybe we would have understood in that angle. But the parameters that they are using in their economical paradigm shift which they want to embark on, or which they are embarking on, it's not pertaining to the ground, or it's not in tandem with what the people of Zambia are expecting. Apart from that, Mr. McFarlane, we need to know, to say, when making decisions, we make decisions which benefit the people. Irrespective of everything that you do. We have got the Minister of Foreign Affairs, or the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That is the ministry which represents the country to the foreign nationals, and also creating relationships between countries. The question should be, why then are we having leadership, or people in leadership, such as the president, the vice president, and other ministers, if truly they can't solve our problems? Because the main reason why we have leaders is to solve problems. And the main reason why we have presidents is to make decisions which benefit the people. The question should be, what kind of a decision today, Mr. McFarlane, can you mention which the president has made, which has benefited the people of Zambia? There are, of course, things which you can be able to attribute to, but all those things are always being shielded by the...
You are saying that there is nothing that has, benefited the Zambian people since the assumption of President Hakainde Hichilema into office, isn't it?
You can tell me one.
I'm asking you a question. There isn't anything.
For me, to my side, look, for me, what I'm looking at this. Let me explain it in this way. You are going to mention maybe, let's say, free education. What you need to know is that there is no free education in the country at the moment, to my side. What you are going to mention is there is free education for the people of Zambia. It's not every person who is in Zambia who is going to school for free. We also need to know that free education is not in private schools. If your child is in a private school, then you are supposed to pay. No. For
you know that there are human rights in this country where you can decide where to take your child in terms of
irrespective of having human rights. Let us understand this point. No. Let us understand this point. Are you aware? Yes. Are you aware, Mr. McFarlane, that we have got
people who choose not to go to school, but they will not be held to ransom, isn't it?
Mr. McFarlane, look, there are certain constituencies where a government school can be accessed from where you are. Maybe a lot of kilometers needs to be covered, and only private schools are near. There are certain schools, Mr. McFarlane, which are very far from that person's residency. So that parent is required to pay transport for that child. If that person is supposed to pay transport for that child, it means initially, if that parent was to calculate how much amount just on transport which that person or that people is spending per month, it will be huge or a lot. Now, since that is huge or a lot, the person will sit down to say, okay, let me be able to calculate how much am I spending per month. Let's say that parent is spending 500 per pupil to go to a government school for transport alone. Then, in a private school, a parent is only supposed to pay, let's say, a 1,000 kwacha or 1,200 per term for that pupil. This parent is spending 500 kwacha per month, meaning in 3 months the parent will spend 1,500 kwacha. If 1,500 kwacha will be spent on transport alone for the pupil because there is an increase on the amount of bus fares that have been paid, so going and coming back to or from school, then that parent will be, no, this is not economical. I'm spending more on transport alone, which is surpassing the tuition or the school fees for the what? For the pupil at a private school. As a result, that parent resulted into taking that child at the school, meaning that child or that parent is paying that amount. Apart from that, previously, the people in government schools, they were paying a 200 kwacha a term. I'm coming to that. After they were paying that, they multiplied that with 3. Then they were paying somewhere 600, or I'll say less than 1,000 per term. If you are taking a child at school and you are paying. Now, this parent who was spending, let's say, less than 1,000 per term at school, per year in a government school, has been told to say, okay, we're not going to be spending this. But because that parent is the one who pays, McFarlane, pupil sama lipirapo chili chonse ku school. Wakapisha pupil McFarlane azaenda kuli mami wake na badadi wake ati ine banipisha ku school bafuna ndrama. After uchakaenda kuli parent wake ndi bakisa ndrama. So mzaka mbati we alipira ku school ni mwana ni parent. Kuli nenzamiza ati ni parent mwana sama. A child or a pupil, less than 10% of the pupils that we have in this country, that is from grade 1 to 12, pay for themselves. About 98%, they are paid by their parents or guardians. So let us not attribute free education to a pupil. Let us attribute free education to a parent. When I was going to school, I was going to my parents, I was going to my guardians and say, "Banipisha ku school bafuna ndrama." Bazalipira my parents banga. Manje ndine nalipira ku school on my parents banga balipira ni my parents. Now, let us then take at the cost of living for that parent. Uja parent instead jogula unga 120. The minimum amount of which that parent can spend on a bag of mini meal is more than 120. In fact, minimum of 150.
How then do you describe the UPND administration's free education policy?
It is a circus to the people.
How do you describe it?
It's nothing, Mr. McFarlane, to my side. I will tell you that. It is nothing. One,
Okay, compared to the previous government.
compared to the previous government, for me, I don't want to compare governments. But if you are going to tell me, but if you are going to tell me so,
When we are talking about issues that border on, comparison, you have.
okay, let me compare. Let me compare if that is what you
Let me
want.
just put it clear. You were actually comparing, other countries, to Zambia. Now, this is actually something you explained plainly to say that there are certain steps that they were actually taking in arriving at where they are actually right now.
Okay.
So when you compare in the previous government, all these things that have been scrapped off in the education, you will find that some of the things that were actually being paid for in the previous administration are not being paid for this time around, insofar as education is concerned. That is from grade 1 up to grade 12. So that is a step for me, and I would like you to actually explain further how you would actually not want to compare this.
Okay.
If you
Let me do so.
Countries'
Okay.
strides in development to other countries.
Okay. Why I wouldn't want to compare is this. Look, when the previous government made policies which were not benefiting the people of Zambia, the current government can scrap off such kind of policies. Apart from that, Mr. McFarlane, let us look at the cost of living from the previous government to the cost of living in this government. The previous government was the maximum amount they bought fuel was at 17 kwacha in 2021 before general elections, 17 kwacha per liter. In 2021 before elections, the people of Zambia were buying a bag of mealie meal at 120 kwacha. When we had elections, or again before elections, to move, the people were moving from Charleston to town, they were paying a 7 kwacha transport. Mga pempe no pempe at 35. The people were moving, let's say, from Garden to go to town. They were paying a 5 kwacha transport. Today, Mr. McFarlane, per liter, fuel is now, or petrol is bought at 21 kwacha plus. A bag of mealie meal which was selling at 120, today is now selling at 150 minimum. This was maximum amount you can spend when buying a bag of mealie meal. In this era now, of this government, you spend a minimum of 150, meaning in other countries, there are people who are buying a bag of mealie meal at 180. In other provinces or other towns, there are people who are buying a bag of mealie meal at 200 kwacha. So now, here is the calculation, Mr. McFarlane, for you. You spent a 200 kwacha for a bag of mealie meal. Now, previously you are spending 120. What are you going to have in surplus, Mr. McFarlane? So in short, there is now an 80 kwacha increment on the amount of mealie meal compared to the previous government. Meaning the cost of living has not increased. So now, if this government wants to be able to be given credit because they have introduced free education, and that is why this cost of living is increasing, then I would advise that tienti bwerere kumbuyo, tambogula unga pa 120, tambogula fuel pa 17 kwacha, tambogula vonse pa mitengo iyo cheaper, bantu bonsaba, bazamba uzilipirira ku school. Apart from that, Mr. McFarlane, when making decisions, we need to know to say, a parent whose budget per household was 5,000 kwacha, today it is 10,000 kwacha. For what reasons? It's because that parent is buying, or that household is buying a lot of things, Mr. McFarlane, at increased prices. They are buying cooking oil at increased prices. They are buying a bag of minimum at 180 instead of 120. The bus operators, they are buying per liter of petrol at 21 point something from the 17 kwacha they were paying per liter. Now, I'm going to tell you to say, we were better off previously than now.
Okay. This is the platform program on Joy FM Radio, and of course I'm talking to governance activist, Mr. Lazarus Nkoko. You can as well call in on 0977-165-743, 0977-165-743. Let's hear your submission this morning. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Wina mwabuka shan mkwa.
Ya mkwa imashubukeni.
Wakalamba itakwambira ponde totera mulelanda pile Afrika. Ipo mulelanda Kristo. Aba yamba ko ba ityenga pyasho pashi. Ipe kesho na wasunya ko bene mutengo bakweshi. Babika pate ventini zake na yadi. Kantu mwana openga to mana bu ko ko plate mawan seven. Mwana kokki hoyo vaisa ni department 7. Apa mande ka botro kala kanono kala ni kiki. Mwana ka ipinti wakamba na pitula wakamba yako batona itatapisha kwa tulea sole na tumva ko na lume yako batini mutengo futi baladi kiranga kufu yako batira mfika no kwate baladi kirako so tulea mboko ati government ya kia chupa plate kesho nipo meko code plate kesho ni ndai tuletera sana mwe mwana na iwa shitalo punch tona totera mwombe.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your contribution this morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, McFarlane.
How are you doing today?
I'm very fine, McFarlane.
Great.
I'm the happiest person. Like everyone is around here. You can hear noise from the background, eh?
What makes you happy today? Share with us.
Okay, because I'm just telling you what makes people happy. You know, CDF, Bangena, CDF, 805 million. Just today, each constituency, each one is going to receive part of that. And when you now divide that, it's about 1.1 million going in a constituency, McFarlane. For the first time in the history of Zambia, it has happened. Do you know what that means? That's where that gentleman is now struggling to explain. You have actually good question. But it's I don't know what to use the word I wanted to do. You know, sometimes when we come to radio, you should be well equipped. Why am I saying so? He's giving an example of Rwanda. Does he know where Rwanda came from? And does he know what has made Rwanda be where it is? On the other side, he's saying, no IMF. They're saying we make a circumstantial situation. It's because of the IMF. Does he know that it's the same IMF which has made Rwanda be where it is? Does he know that this issue of sending money to the constituencies, to the rural areas, is what has made Rwanda be what it is today? Does he know that? Even the rem in Rwanda, they have access to the money because the money will be taken right to the people. They've got cooperatives, just like the current government has laid out that program. It's just 7 months, and all these things are happening. And now he says, what was the cooking oil in what? Even propaganda is what is going to kill us in this country. On the same radio there where you are, McFarlane, people have lied. They've used propaganda. I've got it method from all the corners. If you want, I can even challenge you to say, let me go, maybe Mongo, Shangombo, to find out if a bag of milling is about 200 quarters. That's a lie. Don't lie when you're on radio. Where are they buying a bag of milling at 200 quarters? Does he even understand to say you know that actually?
You can kindly conclude.
I'm concluding my friend that because I need time. I go on, I explain to the people that the one who are misleading people. You see, a bag of milling you can get, it's 120. You know, you can get it at 120. Now, why should you go to breakfast which is 200 and eat roller which is nutritious, confirmed by the medical personnel to say the most nutritious food, and that's what I eat. That's what people in Kaplonga, people wherever, 3/4 now, they stop eating breakfast, they eat roller. It's going on, McFarlane, the age of free education. He says, no, let me end up.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We appreciate your contribution this morning. We take in this one. Hello, good morning.
Yego mwami mwafika bwanji.
Bwino bwanji.
Awe tauka bwino. Bwanji balwede mu studio.
Yo ba mwami kalenga muri bwanje.
Awe tauka che bwino. Sasa unachinga kambi nchapo chimkanga bwino manyingi. Mwaona ka? your point makamba kuti it's better that bweze pa TV kudala ni point ikulu maningio pamene ba UK ndi banali opposition bezo fighting a mitengo ijamene nalipo kuti mitengo ngene nali yabwino ku bantu bantali kukutika nayo mitengo ija maona ka including kulunda mafuta ngati nchakutireze bezo kudia hii ndrama zameni zopatia pa mafuta ni zambili maningi mshima calculation ya the branch mwanzo kututemea unafuna kuchosa subsidy basata then against this maona kutaka subsidy muzapeteka bantu maona ka ile nakapela banaweza mathematics ya maneno.
Are you aware that the previous government actually was not remitting the money that was supposed to be given paid in subsidy form? Are you aware of that? That the money was not being paid, but it was just, the money was not being remitted in that regard for fuel subsidies.
Sorry, kuti ndrama sizina likuenda nanga kwa hiyo ndio pamtengo chipa yote kifuta kainicho naona ka mlango kuti zameni ba UK nzini ngene ndokamba kuti ngati nachoka subsidy muzapweteka bantu mutengeza kama vitibonzi vitakwera naona ka chele ndio wisha ndio ngina mpawa kapende njira solution ya kubidilisha banji bichipe including ya mene fuel bichipe kulingana na calculation yabo naona ka mangi after la wina tamiti da bitancha kuti vitibonzi za kwera kaenda pamwamba naona ka ngapo tikambati atilisi anga twezana binika pamene patete ndegiri wenu papa manje excuse kwa zata onani apa bintu anaononga so manje kuna change bintu that is the nenya hapa kibapeza kan pata ni that ile baadhi kuwezeka after kuwezeka manje padula bintu zenye mambo problema banzabo na ndio nalengeza na ndio na watoto kuwezeke ndio tunataka ujinga brand pamoja so kati mshakweli yani ndio wakwezeka leo tena wapatana plan mpaka pale ma government anipeleka kwa vile ndio kipote kwa vile mathematics yako ikija kwa wale itaongea itajibile bantu kile ndio ngatangi zile ushasije kujeza itakuti unga uchipe ikija kujeza itakuti shule uchipe ikija kujeza itakuti chanzo bantu ndio sasa ndio hii naona ka so hizi ni ndio awali yetu ndio kuna development hiyo tunakumpia tukulipe naona ka ndio kitu tunataka kama tunalipa pia kila kuna maofisi bacho ingela beza zizi chani ingela
okay. Thank you, Mwami Kalenga. We appreciate your contribution. We appreciate. I lost that call, and of course, you can come through and give us your contribution. Good morning.
Hello, morning.
How are you today?
I'm fine.
Mkwai mulishani.
Yes, Majesta.
I'm fine.
Nikwisa muletu mina.
It's a banana.
Go ahead.
As I can say this. I'm quiet. Let's explain it. Let's come and the fiat. If you do not shoot, let the fiat. If free education divided, the Kappa may be free. Malayland that let us fight corruption. Now let's introduce corruption, move free education, more education, more corruption. Let's introduce corruption. Malayland that let us fight corruption. Which Malayland that is very UPNG. Who's schooling or I'm for school? Abandoned that of this one. I'd pass a grade 10. Tell I am at one in Cook. I pass school, government school. Tapari grade 10. Yale pelaka junior secondary. Pasa. Ukuya pasku hapa ba secondary. Zaire mwe batikavie kuskuru wale kandinda. Ni shimara nara ya kuskuru na tamba tapa la grade 10. Ati bebe na ba niwe batikwa free education na wale beshile fya kuchi. Ezo laile mukwaso. Ele nomba bambi bale amba. Ale beba tilete ni kama 1000. 1000 ipak tuwambe grade 10. Nomba ni free education. Uniform 700. Ama books ni shinga. Ele bale na tukuli free education. Lera yumfano kuyumfa tukuli free education. So kakuti aka ndo mwana ni shifesi tukafwa ya kubosha. Free education. Ekile bana force abantu kula mkuu atwala bana mma government schools, mma private schools. Bandu bamu na government school na ikosa kuti wambe from government school. Free education yana tapali wela ile pano kule pala yuko kuyufwa. ifintu ama-commodities yonse naba-increase cooking oil tulaisetali kwata shop if cooking oil appear for bafune for 20 liters twalesta pa 600 580 akanomba na ifika 1000 20 liters so bale pushe mashop sala letali ko kweba tembele pe mitengo mlete zale 1020 liters ngamasango ko bachipishe ni 990 eso balesta ala nomba bale landa nafshika ala naba filo bali pendi kumefyachini bali vyonse filo bali sta promise tapale kwa bombele po siyakweba tifina abantu kuti batasi abantu bonse bali complain afet bale tubeka flight bale landa takesa kufixinga economy bata kufixinga abantu bata kufixinga siyonse ko bale sta siyonse tezo bale sta promise abantu kufiro kwena na abafizi wabayipenzi nuthe continue kulata balera tinya na balerani bale so abagene tibala mutuka patoshe media bale tukana ukuthi balande febale so babombe febale promise abantu takuthi uwalanda ko bamutuka uwalanda ko bamuyikata leta lelo kwikata abana abathi bayibembe balibembe impiyesho bayi banoko bayibata balanda la buno bwino impiyesho babombera abene bale bapokolola bamukupera abandi abashashibombera so bapangire budget impiyesho abombera abanabo base bapangire budget ko bati tukala bapokolola sale twa education Number next year budget ika bashani Jose ngaba pokolola bakapangira abantu budget. Tese twiro ku government tese ifiro ku. Kupangira budget kana nenu ko bati tukabapokolola ndanga babombe.
Thank you very much.
Bomba bale fola bali kwatamba companies, or private companies.
Oh. She had to actually
Vana kashabo.
Okay, good morning. Let's hear this one. Good morning.
How are you, sir?
I'm well, thank you. Your name, please, and where you calling us from?
I'm Joseph from Wedimu.
Okay, Mr. Yongwe, try to make yourself very clear because you are quite inaudible, sir.
How about now?
Okay, you can proceed.
Good morning, Bernadette.
Good morning, Mr. Joseph.
You know, when you are an activist, you should be a well-researched person. You don't give us a half-baked information. In all that you have said, you have been contradicting yourself. You entangle yourself in things like that. All I should tell you is that you have not been well prepared. Next time when you appear on the radio, be prepared. Macpherson, let me thank you. You are a brilliant interviewer. You have asked that man a lot of good questions that he is failing to give answers. You know, he's comparing Zambia and Tanzania. He's been comparing Zambia and Rwanda. You ask him a very good question that he's failing to answer. Rwanda, as at now, is not servicing any jet. Zambia is servicing a jet. So the dynamics, like you have said, are not the same with Rwanda. Tanzania, if you look at Tanzania, the proximity to where fuel is being procured from is near. In fact, if anything, it is Tanzania where all these landlocked countries receive fuel from. So the fuel in Tanzania, you can't compare it to that. Those are the factors that you are failing to actually put into context. So that is what I'm saying. You've not well researched and you've not prepared for this problem. Next time be prepared. Lastly, you talked of saying there's nothing that you can be talking about in free education. And even the example you are giving that if people are told to go and find money, he goes to a parent and asks for money, so it is a parent who pays for that. I mean, what type of thinking is that? My parents,
Anyway, thank you.
Can I talk to Mr. Joseph?
Thank you.
Mr. Joseph.
I appreciate it. Mr. Yongwe. Hello? Okay, he's gone. You can respond now.
Okay, Mr. Joseph, I've heard all you are saying, but irrespective of you saying, I have not researched. You have not told me exactly. You are again arguing to say when a pupil is just from school, the pupil doesn't go to the parent. Where does the pupil go to? Mr. McFarlane, maybe you know where the pupil goes to tell the people to say, I've been chased from school, I need to go and pay my fees. So in as much as we are criticizing, let us criticize where we think it is not okay. Let us appreciate where we think it is okay. Mr. Joseph is aware of what I'm talking about. Because one, he needs to know, to say, as we are speaking today, in Zambia, You can't say why are you comparing Zambia and Rwanda? Do you know where Rwanda is? It's not servicing any debt. I am going to combine what Mr. Joseph has said together with the second caller, though I didn't get the name, who said CDF is in. And then the person said, do you know where Rwanda came from? We need to know to say Rwanda has passed through harshness than Zambia. We need to know that Rwanda at some point was under genocide. They have managed to rise in all that up to this level. What did Zambia have? Different governments that we have changed in this government left problems. I'm not defending the PF. I'm saying what the truth is. What you need to know is that by MMG parents Choka government, Banafia 2,000 retirees. 2,000 retirees, Mr. McFarlane. This one at the PDUA. And the previous government managed to pay 1,800 retirees. Only 200 have been cleared off by this government. Now, if the PF began complaining to say, by MMG Banatisila ma 2,000 retirees, Veswana repeated. So, Bandani, Bevarenges, and YMMG, Bandani. And the spokesperson for the UPNG was busy, saying that, no, the reason why the cost of living has increased is because of the PF. But PF in the government today. Don't take failures and begin blaming other people. Take responsibility. Be responsible at times. A man is supposed to be always responsible. Be responsible. But Joseph, what I'm trying to say is, mwana ngati bamupisha ku skulu. Ngati mulina mwana. Ama enda kukamba ati banipisha ku skulu. Azaenda kuli bamroad. Azabwela kuli imwe ba Joseph. Ero mamumpasire ndrama kalipili. Maya ba Joseph veni kamba nvakuti. Uyu jamuka mpasa ndrama imwe. Nishindwa ndani balipila. Ndimwe ni mwana. Because ndimo mwatusa muntu mbayano. And that is why I'm saying, the cost of living has increased imwe ba Joseph. Mwenzo gula unga pa 120, mugula pa 150. And then the other guy who came to say, unga kulipego pepa yudi pa 200 ma countries. Ba first caller. Ba first caller mezo kambati. Unga tigula zingati 170. I've said in some parts of the country. And then the person argued to say, ungan 120. Siniziva. Bantu baninvera pano. Veni kamba ngati nvaboza wazajajinga. Unga suri pa 120. Unga suri pa 120. Because even by information in ndani utaboka one was busy saying that you have medicine in hospitals. Lelo bantu bakaenda ma hospitals. Swapeza munkwala. Lelo bantu bakaenda ma hospitals mulibe munkwala. Lelo bantu bakaenda ma hospitals bankala pa queue for about 5 hours. The only thing they get from a doctor is a signed prescription or a written prescription to go and access my medicines, my pharmacies. Now the question is all that being considered? Ababwela pa CDF abanizanka lapo na pevya. CDF tunaichita understand him. What CDF is? There are activities which were happening at central government, in short, not central bank, central government. Mm-hmm. When such activities were happening at central government, Mr. McFarlane, imwengati mufuno tenga empowerment kutoka ku Ministry of Youth and Sports. Mwenzoenda, that was under central government, mwenzoenda kuja. Ngati mwenzo funo endo tenga ma empowerment kutoka ku Ministry of Gender, mwenzoenda. Lelo wakambati, ama activities kuliboenda ku Ministry of Gender, kuliboenda ku Ministry of Youth and Sports. Bonse mzambo tenga ndrama CDF. CDF previously is 1.6 million kwacha per constituency. We need to know to say, this is a more amount than 25.7 million because vevenzo chitika pa central government. Sidi chitika pa wanakambati imangati mfuna empowerment kulipoenda ku central government ngambo tenga muri CDF. Ngati mfuno panga ma road ye yao ngeka. Ngati mfuno manga maskuru ye yapo anika. Ngati mfuno penta maskuru. Ngati mfuno kutati one imo mtandizire bana bamasiye kuli malilo kwe mulili imwe. My counselors, they are always on your doorstep at times to begin helping you. Ivo vonse ivo wakambati iya izo ndrama ziyambo chokera mu CDF mwamene umu. Man, the question is CDF yeba boasting ai ni ikulu ni ngono kuli nenza news ati ni ngono because all the activities that were happening were taking place at the central government. They are no longer taking place there, but actually reduced kuli constituency level. Already, look at the empowerments that were just given by the Ministry of Youth and Sports previously. Enormous. more than this amount which they have allocated in constituencies. How many people are we having per constituency? On average, the number of people in a constituency, a particular constituency, is 200,000 people. 200,000, Mr. McFarlane. That is why lokubashita announce my results mwenzomvera iyai baechechu kubatengaya ababatengaya. What we need to understand is there are people who never voted. There are people who never registered as voters, and there are people who didn't participate in voting. All those people are supposed to be taken care of by the government. Now, look at the population per constituency. How much is that constituency? That population. On average, I've said, which is the minimum number, 200,000 people. Kangono ka constituency kemza kambaku. Meaning other constituencies go up to 500,000 people. Elema mwina 25.7 million. Atia is achitakata huko. Are you sure? Are you sure? Already what we need to know is that yo mpange ma cooperatives mkambe chani mpange chani basasebenza fichani because ma barber shop ayo bafunika kuyamba okugula ma light bamutengo odula tudenga twafuna mbo manga ma barber shop tizesco ichite connect ntambo kutoka papo kuenda mu barber shop yao ni drama za mbili maningi. Let's go to free education ye bakambapo but Jester babwira mushe bad. This is the woman, Madam Jester, you are a woman. She has said the child has passed grade 9 kumupeleka pa skulu pa new bamuza ati bwera ku skulu ko enzedi bakakambatia ai ku skulu ku sisi kulibe grade 10 bamuza ati endani kulibe bana leta free education. You can see the mockery by the government. Apart from that, McFarlane, you need to know to say aba UPND bambili, the only job when you criticize, they are not objective. They resort to insults. Any person who is not supporting the UPND is considered down. You always consider other people down because they are not agreeing with what you are saying. That's not leadership. When you know that you are intelligent, take the intelligence from other people. But no, I have not researched, I have not done. What issue have entire addressed here? Nishu Bondesina address up McFarlane. You need to know again to say Bantu bavutika. In as much as you can try to defend the government, you know what you are going through, even you as an individual. You know what you are going through as a person where you are. In as much as you want to be criticized, vinango ivinga tumba plezinga. Bazamba ona mga tibachita vanzeru. If they have managed to mislead their doings, tell them to say, yeah, pamasokoni is atenti chiteso. You criticize objectively, just like the way I have done. Because even the Jester wasembesi wanabwele sembenezo kamba vapoza. That's why babwela bakambati. In free education muri corruption. Because vantu one according to the Jester wabawuzati, vanabawuza kulipida 1,000. Kutiche mwana ngene ku school. My 1,000 yoni achani. And previously, people were buying uniforms. Papa my uniforms wagula 800, 700. Lelo bakambati okay. Ngati ni free education yanengesa kutisiwe idule. Ngati ni free education yanengesa kutati unga udule. Ngati ni chani ya mene free education yanengesa kuti ma petrol ma fuel na drama zebalipira abama bantu bamba mankala makombo nyu mutiba zigenda mu town inobwelela. Ngati ni free education yalengesa kuti bazesco bachite increase meter separation fees na cable connection fees. Ichose ni free education tibwerere mwetenze lili. Itebeba meaning. And also let me just respond to other people again because I've not responded to Mr. Mwami Kalenga. Mr. Mwami Kalenga has also raised cardinal points here. Look, UPND was the things they were fighting when in oppositions are the things they are doing. Basata wanabwela tensi choseko subsidy. Banakana, yeah, he was a survivor branch. That is why even the president was busy there saying, ine, nikabwela mgovernment, zaka mipasa ma subsidies ya mbili. Lero bachosako. Sikabauza timnakamba mzaika kuma subsidy, ati you are down. Is reminding a person being down. Waka mikumbusa cho. But Joseph, mnanila ila imwati, mzani pasako 20 kwa chalero, nipase manji muna niuza. Ati ya yuli down you. Maina nilidao ba Joseph mau yanu ya mena o yemna kambati ya kambe isatitiri dao. Okay, if you are down, let the people who are wise get the intelligence from our downings. Because even the Bible says, hear from the fool, and get the essence from the full. That is the Bible for you, Mr. McFarlane.
Okay. 0977165743, 0977165743, and 0960969269. 0960969269 will be actually ending the program shortly. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you doing?
Elvis on the line.
Yes, sir, Elvis.
Yes. You get the hour.
I'm fine, Mr. Elvis. How are you?
I'm fine. When you say President Hakainde Hichilema in the UPND have not done anything, I totally disagree with you. The reason why I disagree with you is that they have done something. And that something they have done is to increase the price of fuel, to increase the price of milk, to increase the price of doing business. And today, the UPND president, when he came into power, he told us that he would be appearing on the radio stations. He appeared once. Where is he now? He's even fearing to come on the radio because he knows the bombardment of the questions he will receive from the people they have duped. The UPND has duped us. They have duped a lot of people. And don't worry, my dear, who's there in the studio. There will be always the drum beaters. And these drum beaters will not stop to accuse you, will not stop to insulting you. We have been there. If you have to support the government, it's like never could have McFarlane. It's like the witch. I've been there myself. This is when I'm seeing what the people were talking about. These drum beaters, some of them, they cannot even afford the meal. Some of them, this is what beating the drums today. These are the people who condemn the increase of prices. When they come on the radio, you hear them when they were in the opposition. You know, that was Sako Masabuki, no Unga Wadula, no Tikudia Kamon. Today, they can be the people. What has changed today? Are they on the payroll? Yeah? Mr. Gates today. Are they on the payroll today? These drum beaters that is, they could even applaud the price of fuel going up. Some of them don't even know how the cost of fuel is. It's only people like us who buy fuel, who knows the difficulties we are facing today to feed our cars. So for me, the UPND...
Mr. Elvis, kindly wind up.
Yes, I'm winding up. The UPND is a failed project. We told the people, we want the people that this government which wants to come into power will do nothing for you but you have to.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your contribution this morning. Have a good day. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine, and how are you?
Okay, your name again?
Mulenga David Baraston.
Okay, Mulenga.
Ratipaya, Ungani for this current government, Ungani as well. Then don't pretend they consider bueno. Even European supporters, this area, you know, also some Zambians, that should say, but don't kind of say, because they are sectors from here to Baraston, that we're going to be sticker, we're going to see aware. So, be unfair, the kind of government is being straight, not just a ground. Like, but therefore, a ground is not going to be conquered. A ground is studied for that. Never done with a so-called. What is an over Mabutika, Macombo, Machant compound? Let's get an for what confines. It's still more. You sit here for many of them. You can run a community, 5.1 billion. But I tell you, isn't that? Even 1 year, so called that kind of the grammar, Capan, Bruno. The phone, you know, like Josera, like just a Cameroon, like just a half hour. Because not a man, when free education, one son can enter Nanjara to school. We do that. And that's what we're going to free. Can you see what HIV, Uguana, the poverty in Zico? And the person is going to have poverty to be human character. Don't you pretend? Don't you put up Uguana? But kind of Uganda, Nanjara, Military, and then you go to the Parapet, mtu HIV uko tayari zaidi. Because maskana wengi wanaenda section certain grass.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Thank you. How are you doing today?
Oh, we are okay, my brother. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Thank you. What is the name for the gentleman?
Mr. Smukoko. Smukoko is the name.
Oh, Mr. Smukoko. Uli.
Awane baba muri namwe.
Oh.
Tasari fyankaninye baba.
Thank you. This is Brother Andrew. I'm calling from Songwe. Smukoko, you are very right. We have been insulted. Some of us who have been threatened. I remember very well in 2016, the 2016 presidential election. Some of us, someone would just come on radio and before the radio station and say, "Your brother Andrew, itawina by elections by UPND." Akatumira pasimu familia kala, akaende kambe kupita kwa police station. You know? So anybody who talks anything against the UPND, it becomes the worst enemy. And they Mama Tukada and Chakozaki, you even think that what is the problem with our colleagues? You know? And then, especially when you remind them of the promises that they were making before election, during their campaign. It's like you are touching a wound somewhere and Chibaba Babani. But all these promises are coming to come from them. If we just come on radio to come and remind them, you know that to say, when you are inaugurated at 10 hours, the inauguration is at 10 hours. 14 hours, the dollar comes, they present by 14 hours. And whenever they ask you to say how, but you say, yes, I know somebody is asking that, but how? And you say, fundamental. Because now, the international community is going to have confidence in the leadership of the UPND. Guess what? Today we are talking, this is the last month, the last day of March 21st. How much is the dollar to a quarter right now? Okay? And when we are talking about the price of fuel, no, because there are a lot of middlemen. There are a lot of bogus people in the middle before fuel can have kind of result. And immediately we come into power, we are going to remove all these middlemen. They came into power, my brother, to just a few days, the fuel price went up. And this means that those middlemen, they also added some more middlemen. These are the questions that we continue asking. Now, when you ask that type of questions, reminding them, you will get insulted. They start insulting you. And they call you down. You are very right, my brother. Some of us have been called down.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Brother Andrew. We have to allow for a reaction from our guests.
Thank you so much, man.
Appreciate. And of course, that is Brother Andrew there. And we'll take in, I think, one last call so that we can give chance to our guests to respond. Good morning.
Morning. Let me mute the system, Mr. Moderator. Hello?
Good morning.
Morning. How are you, Mr. Moderator?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing?
Oh, Mr. McFarlane, sorry. Indeed. Good morning, Bwana guest.
Good morning, sir.
My name is Filimon from Kitulika, Zambia.
Go ahead and give us your contribution.
Thank you. Allow me at this juncture to completely disagree with you, Mr. Guest here, for misleading this country. Free education, whether you like it or not, I'm asking you the question, who is a good man on planet Earth? Somebody who gives you a 200 kwacha, who charges you a 200 kwacha on certain commodity, or somebody who gives you the same commodity freely because you are able to pay for that same commodity. Which one would you prefer is a good man? So this is a question I want you to answer me, because free education made a lot of people come here and speak. We had people who fought to take their children to school because of this message you are justifying. Exaggeration C. All these things have been flushed out. My BTS, these were a liability
child who is unable, these were liability to poor families. That's why people here in Turika, they are in Chinga province, they are celebrating like our way, not to touch free education. Everything. You cannot say it's better we flat out free education so that we take the money to fuel. And you know, look at the difference. 21 kwacha and 17 kwacha. It is within the range after forcing out the subsidies. Anything. It would have been unsustainable if these the liter maybe is maybe costing maybe 40 kwacha. It was going to be just able to say no, not to do that. Now 17 kwacha, 21 kwacha is different from 4 kwacha. Let me tell you the nation. The government is assessing the situation. If the situation on international level is going to be unsustainable, then the government will sit down which way to go forward, how they can help the situation. I'm not saying they'll bring back some subsidies. Subsidies are a liability, whether you like it or not. Look the Peter Party which has done. For forcing out the subsidies, we have created 30,000, 11,000. Otherwise, they are applying money. Maybe you are not seeing those money. They are applying there. Why? It's because of removing my subsidies.
Okay.
So those people are going to be employed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Philemon. We appreciate your contribution.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Great.
Otherwise, you should not be so. That's why you, my opposition, you have completely failed to provide solutions.
All right.
You'll be getting my
Thank you so much. This is the platform program. I would like you to respond, and then we can move on to ending the program.
Okay, there are a lot of calls who have come through. First and foremost, I want to thank every person who has participated and every person who has managed to call. Philemon, you are in Muchinga province. That is where I also come from. I understand the situation which is there. Kusi umuntu nanti umwiko kokukaya. Omuyanga nkale pansi no mbuti amba tiai. There is this and that. Kusi nanti umu. Many people in Muchinga province, as we are speaking, wasi usupanganda ulimi mwemwe wa Philemon pa apo mwe nili kuvwanga apalipo mwemwe mwatinga fertilizer kwe government yo ivisa akakoko pantawi yoyo mwemwe asikia mutalike ukusola ivisaka vyasikia vinkali ivitichi because a fertilizer koko kusi. Let me again be a bit practical. In as much as you can say all this, you have said you are the UPND. You have already raised that point to say we have done this and this. Now, irrespective of where you belong, that is your constitutional right. But say the truth. Most people who have called here, they are genuine, without any political party. They are not affiliated to any political party, Mr. McFarlane. And it is so disheartening for the people who are in the government to begin defending the wrongs. That is why Elvis said, nga muli mu government, chaba kwati bali kulowa. Takuboku monefi vyefyole echita. Kula defenda vyefshilingile. No bungali mbiabe na wale tumatabako ete. Because Elvis bachilanda ti, I have been there. Nomba. Imwe mwebantu imwe. Mwewa kulewa ti yo. Mulefa fe mulelanda yo ifinefi. Where are you going to be? Mufilo kuishiwa ti government go. Government come. In as much as you want to defend the UPND, ask yourself, how will I survive when UPND is out of power? One, you are going to find maybe the same cost of living, which you are always beginning to feel like you are okay with it. Mukafuma mpawa bushkubumo. And that will happen. Not even a doubt, we can't even say 50-50. Mupawa mwena mukafuma. Time will tell. That is why Elvis also criticized me a bit to say, I've done that, the government has done nothing. And then he has said, you are wrong. The government has done something. That is, they have increased the cost of living. That is true. They have increased the prices of fuel. They have increased the prices of mealie meal and other commodities, which is so wrong, Mr. McFarlane. Bamulenga bachisa. Yezo kamba batipaya. Batipaya ba government. Batipaya. Bachitanouza baja bantu ba defender ba UPND dominance. Don't pretend, because you are feeling the impact. Inne ni machita associate na bantu bambiri. Get the notion. Lero simunga ende mu market. Mambo kama tibali we pay. So ndizamigwira mweka. You can't be proud to even say bali will pay. And bantu wakambati, yo, they said bali will fix it. Indeed, he is fixing us. We are in a country, Mr. Godwin, where we need to be understanding the things that we can be able to do. Bantu bavutika ma compound, and that is the reality. That is why abantu monga babachitulika wakambati, yeah, I am not a good person. Yeah, abo bari kuchani huku, bafilimoni bali kuchitulika village. Ine kwatu ni kuisoka within Muchinga province. I recently visited that area. I know how people are faring with life there. I know how they are. Elonga ni mwebo ko mwabamupepi na pa Tanzania ko mwebene ba Filimoni. Fishi mutwala ku Tanzania. Ni mwabamu ya lyonse. Pa boda po mwa mu Tanzania mulamusende fitenge. Tamwa kwa tanensoni teti muipangire fyenu. Nomba mweta mwakwa atensoni ya kubipangire fyenu. Abanene bale mipangira nga ba Tanzania abwero baisa mukumishitisha. Nomba imwe nishita mwakwa ateminwe. Tamwakwa atobuteko bwingambo kula pange fitenge muno mkantri. Ubuteko twali kwata. Lero tabwa ichibo fya kuchita. That is why pali lero imwe ba Filimoni imwe. Tumwa onfa bwino government ilepera impia ama foreigner zero imwe balemisha. Aho kenena alatira njera aba Filimoni nishi. Tafya bwino efintuko. Bantu kuli ineneka ba McFarlane. Tetinte mwe government ilepere mpia ma foreigners. Ero nomba balesha abantu ba Mzambia balechula. 3.4 billion kwacha. Eo bachitafo fit ku million road tax. Ifefo file pilibula ba McFarlane. File pilibulo kwebati. Ili ya company ya kwata mine. Nga yalefu iko kutupera 3.4 billion kwacha. Taya tupele government na ilandati. Natufumia kweyo tax mwira tupela. Icho chile pilibula chimo chine chako bati mulebo mbaba McFarlane. Elo mwaisala ndo kwebati. Ifwe muno mukampani, ine muno mukampani ndebo mba. Chilefwa empia kunganda pantu ninkwate fya kulya. Ninkwate omuna ni munganda ninkwata na fyonze. So ine nakula bomba fya mala mwira mfolesha. Chitiro buteko. Ubuteko instead ya kusenda ama taxes. Ukufuma mulio kwebati yambo kwa fa abantu ba Mzambia. Yalanda tiyota tulefwa ama taxes pana tukwate mpie shingi. Namba ife tuwaisa pano tulebe bati imwe. Ngana mkwate mpie shingi wesheni mutengo wa bunga. Ngana mkwate mpie shingi wa government wesheni mutengo wa fuel na petro. Ngana mkwata fye ne mpie shingi shishine shintu mulelanda wesheni mutengo wa saladi. Atiyo muri bakopo. Insere sheka. Insere sheka. What the Christian nation twabamo? Zambia was declared a Christian nation. Akali sana kuri bachiruba. After bachiruba bachita declare Zambia si a Christian nation. Elo mba ture moka ola fya masere nomba masere fye yeka fi. Ture moka wirama leaders fya masere. We chalo we. Kwena twafwale mpapa yakwa makumba. Tefye chalo chifiro kuba. Efyo chaba muno mchalo. Most people in this country are suffering. That is why ngana mumona bamulenga babachiso landa tibatipaya. Nanga mwana kuskulu azaenda na njala. Nanga punzile na njala. Apart from vakambati. Chachilengeza kutibana makombo ni basazimvela. It's because vintu vavuta. That is why one, rampant HIV is being recorded. Because vintu vavuta. Manje, hivyo vintu vavuta, isa tupere pano tubauze wa government. Ima wa government chitani hivi na hivi. Ati you are down. Ima wa government mumtuza atili down. Okay, it is fine. tinkale na udownness watu imwe ndimwe muri intelligent manje mwe bali intelligent mwe timipempa ise bali dawo tikonzere nkoni mutengo wa unga tikonzere nkoni mutengo wa petro tikonzere nkoni mutengo wa fuel tikonzere nkoni na mutengo wa salad. Government banachinja abantu ba McFarlane not because it's Kwenzema road. Government banachinja abantu not because ba maskuru sibenzo manga. Government banachinja abantu because benzona munga tibagula vintu pa mutengo odula. So ise tibapempa betiri dawo tavomera tiri dawo but tibwezene nkoni mutengo wa unga na mutengo wa vintu vonse hivyo. Imobe muri intelligent. Ngati mwachita so ise betiri dawo zabo kamba tawe zikomo mwatibwezera ko unga wankala pa 50 kwacha. Zikomo mwachitira so. I will not pretend that I'm intelligent. Since I start pretending. Neither will I pretend that I am down. It is for the people to know. People know that what I've said is the truth. If I am down, bantu bazakamba. Ngatiri dao iseta vomela. Vetu pempa kulimwe wa government. Na vemuchi tukua na bonsi pa ma social media. Na vemuchi tavonze. Vemuchi uzatiseti dao. Please, tibweze nkoni mtengo wa unga. Bantu bapapata. Bantu bali ma compounds bali beva kudya penikamba pano. Bantu bali kwa mbili kuma places bali bendera mazogula ma fuel. Bantu bali ma compounds ya mbili bali bendera maloko zingono. Zata tubambo kukonzera vintu vao pa nyumba. Unga bagula pa mtengo odula na vonse vintu hivi. That is why ise wa government betiri dao ise munga mwe matitanila na mwe bose ma drum beaters o ma placing zo matitana tiri dao. Please tibwezele nkoni mtengo wa vintu. I think from there we can also see the country how it is supposed to be and where we are going to go. That is why the government musireko che vintu vambiri vetifuna ndimwe muna promisa mweka isest na miuze stina bwere kuri ba president ati ya president kamana timzaka citizen employment stina bwere kuri mwati kwacha mkaitisi appreciate pa 10 hours ngati mwankala tuone stina bwere kuri mwe atumkabweze atibweza chan promise atumkabweze mtengo wa kukinoyo ngati mazambians benzo ziba msemenzo kama tizaka kwezeka mtengo wa vintu sembe swana mivoteri bana mivotera because munabalaila sisi mwe bana munabalaila please try to fulfill monga imo mkangiwo chita fulfill vintu ba Zambians. That is why chiba baba Mazambians mupasa 3.4 billion kwacha kuri ma foreign companies by not paying tax to your side, which is wrong for a country which needs to have a long-term solution for the country.
Thank you very much, Mr. Smukoko. We would like to appreciate your coming here this morning.
Thank you very much, Mr. McFarlane. It's a pleasure being here once again.
We'll be back on Monday. Thank you so much. This has been the Thursday edition of the Platform Program. My name is McFarlane Munyanga. Mr. Lazarus Smukoko, governance activist, was my guest today. Good morning.
The Platform is a program that addresses your political, social, and economic well-being. Broadcast every Monday and Thursdays at